G'day guys, Shaun McManus here for team selection ahead of round 19 of the AFL. Of course, we're playing Hawthorn this weekend. Of course, Sunday is the big game, joined by senior coach Ross Lyon. Hey Ross, we're coming off the back of a pretty good game against Essendon. A lot of young players out there once again.
Yeah, 9 players under 30 games, I think it was, but we're quite dogged and we fought it out, and we could have maybe pinched it, but they were probably dominant over the course of the day. Sean Darcy losing before the bounce made our ruck stocks a bit thin, and Scotty Jones really fought on valiantly.
Yeah.
But Bell Chambers gave them first use, and they were able to get it forward and put our backline under a lot of stress.
I guess the good thing, watching on the couch at home for me was the ability to score pretty easily. I know we were accurate, but there were some really great chains happening.
Yeah, it dried up in the last. We just went into our shells a bit. Their pressure was pretty good, but look, all year when we've played well, when we've won, we've moved the ball well and scored well, and then obviously the opposite when we haven't. So, yeah, we're trying to sort of move the ball, make them defend, and a big challenge against Hawthorn this week.
No doubt. The one thing that stands out this week, and you've been talking about it in the media and so have some of the other players, selection this week is going to be harder because you've got all these names that are ready to come back in, have been training well. Yeah,
there's a little bit to go yet, but, Sandilands may be available, Ballantyne, Brayshaw, Taberner will come back and play at Peel, and there's probably someone else. Sean Darcy should be available.
Stephen Hill,
Stephen Hill, yeah, he's critical. We think he'll really get up and play. So, look, at the end of the day, we didn't win, so there's got to be some spots available. But it's nice we're a bit thin there for a few weeks, so it's nice to get a couple back.
So when you are a little bit thin, when you're sitting match committee, you're obviously excited for those guys to get the opportunity to play, number one. But secondly, when you now see the names coming off the injured list and the available list, you must get a bit of a pep in your step.
Well, it helps, but then it's trying to pick a balanced team that, will play well in front of our members at Optus, obviously. So we've got another training session to go tomorrow, and but we brought in Ballantyne into the squad, those guys you mentioned, and then we'll make some final decisions.
What have you made of Hawthorn's season so far?
Well, I was fortunate enough to stay over in Melbourne and watch them play Carlton. They were dominant. They certainly, it's typical Hawthorn. They really like to control the ball and spread the ball by foot. And they'll play with penetration and go in once they have equal numbers. So, it'd be nice. We need to improve where we were at the source. Tom Mitchell's having a Brownlow medal year. And, their front half's still full of quality. When Roughhead, Gunston, Bruce, Puopolo, very experienced there. Isaac Smith and Henderson on the wings. We think O'Meara and Burgon will definitely play for them, so they're very classy, and their back six are quite robust and strong, big athletes. So yeah, they're going to be a formidable challenge.
Over the journey, they've seemed to be able to set up a lot of their scores from defence in particular, the way they spread the ball. Is that the way they're still going to be going about things, and therefore the forward line for us have to be on red alert? Yeah,
it's your first line of defence really when you go in, but they do move it well, but predominantly when they're playing well, they score from centre forward, and their ability to enter the ball in their 50 and then have layers of defence at the fall of the ball, which we would call crummers, and pressuring is enormous, and Bruce and Puopolo and Roughhead and Gunston do that exceptionally well. So again, we're going to need to win at the source and give our forwards more opportunity than we gave them last week, and play like we did against Port Adelaide, play with an intensity and a fierceness that will unbalance the opposition. Yeah,
the intensity that day was outstanding. It has been every time we've played at Optus Stadium. I guess that's almost a sign of a young team. Against Brisbane, we'll forget about that game. But it's been great playing, obviously, at a stadium like that with a home crowd roaring.
Yeah, it certainly helps. It was a good step forward last week in the state with our effort and going to the end. So, but we like to play well everywhere, but it's really important our members turn up. They're heavily invested in us and our partners, and families and friends. So, there must be a nice feeling to display great effort in front of them. So that's what we're aiming for.
Can you believe how fast the season's going?
The win-loss would indicate it could be a bit of a grind, but as Steph Gyro said, all our young blokes are just, again, I had breakfast with Hugh Dixon and Sammy Switowski this morning, and they're just so enthusiastic and vibrant. They forget about the win-loss. They're about building a career. And the weight of numbers is our youth, and it just keeps everyone up and energised, as long as we handle them the right way and just encourage them to improve and give them strong direction, which our leaders are doing. The season seems to be flying.
Yeah, it certainly does. We'll wait until, well, probably before bounce down before we see the final selection of the team. It's great to see some big names back, closing in on the end of the season, but this is one home game you need to be at. Thanks for joining us once again this weekend. Remember, bounce down is at 2:40 this Sunday, and we'll certainly see you there. Thanks, Ross.
Thanks, Shawnee.